Hey, this is Sam OG. This is my personal review of the Burning Wheel RPG. This is a game that has been designed by Luke Crane at Burning Wheel headquarters, and as you can see on my channel, it's my favorite game. It's the one I've been playing the most for now a year. Since I first got it, I never stopped playing it, and so you can tell my fanboyism, all over my channel. And for this review, we'll try to take it away, and do I'm sorry, and do a review that is impartial and more based on fact and impressions instead of just praising it all over the place, So I'm using the Burning Wheel Gold book because that's the one I got, and also the one that is the most finished version of the game. The game has been through like 3 iterations. First one is the Burning Wheel Classic. At that time, it was divided into 2 books, the rules and the character burner. And then it got revised, so you get the whole revised edition going around as well. Still divided in 2 books, so the rules, the spokes and the rim of the wheel was separated from the character burner, where you get the life path and all that. So the Burning Wheel Gold, if you look on the side, it shows you that it's book 1 and 2 in the same book. So that's the and it's got cleaned up and edited, and some rules change at the same time, because one thing you gotta understand with the Burning Wheel RPG is that it's a game that has been playtested and designed for a long time. So it's really it's like a really finished product right now with the Burning Wheel Gold edition. And I never tried the other one, so I cannot tell, but I gotta say it works really well. So yeah, let's get that right off the bat. So if you take a look, if we take a look at the book, it's a nice book. It's a gorgeous book. It has this golden color and red on it, with the wheel and everything, and you get a description in the back, and a really nice sidebar here. I don't know how you guys called it in English, but the white lettering is makes it look good on the shelf. It's also a really cheap game. You can get it for $25, and it's well worth it. So this is my I'm not gonna talk about the aesthetic much. I think it's a great aesthetic, but it's really old school. If you look at it, it's really strong and it's solid, so it's gonna survive the years of gaming. You're gonna get at it, and it's really old school in the design, in the layouts, and the pictures and all that. It's really small, written black and white. You see those pictures. It's really old school. It's full of charts and like charts and tables, and it's like, how can I say that? It is well organized, but it's so dense. I mean, you start from the book, you start reading, and it's one after the other. You get all these things one after the other. So one thing that this is the life path, so you get all the charts here, and in the middle of the book you get all the skills. It's a skill-based game somehow. There's a lot of skill in it. There's some traits and stuff like that, and then you so yeah, it's when you first get into that game, if you are not motivated to read and learn, and if you need pictures and colors and all kinds of little things like that to help you go through a book, it might not be the game for you, because this is really it's black and white, it's old school, and there's those sheets, this paper is really thin, So that's a lot of pages. It goes for you know, almost 600 pages. So it's huge, really dense. But I gotta say it's well written. The first time I got the book, I started to read and I couldn't stop. Really, it's really interesting. The writers have been you know, how can I say? It's like a narrative. You read that book and it's like a narration. There's all kinds of stuff explaining the philosophy of the game, and as well inside the rule description. So you know you start to read, and then sometimes you're gonna have a little pop up at the bottom of the page or something like that, and it's gonna tell you like how to do the stuff that has been described. So that's really helpful. You know, those little faces right there, and it helps you go through the book. But I say it's well written, so it's interesting to read and learn along the way. I've been playing this game for a year now, and I'm still playing it. And one thing I gotta admit, so just to finish with the book in itself before getting into to the game, the book is divided in hub and spoke. At the beginning, where you have all the core rules. In the middle of the book, you get the character burner. And at the end of the book, you get the rim of the wheel, which is the extra rules if you want to go deeper into the game, where you get the conflict rules for fight, duel of wits, and range and cover, for example. And so one thing I gotta say with this book is that every person I played a game with bought the book. Like it feels good in the hand, and it's and it's fun to. It's really weird. It's like before I played that game, I hated looking for rules. I was in that range of gamer where, you know, I don't want to hear about the rules. You need to know them by heart. I don't want to look in the book and stuff. But that book is made in a way that it's fun to look in it. It's like a Bible. You have your Bible at the table, the role-playing Bible, but in this case it's the game Bible. And then you start looking at it, and you look for a rule inside of it, and then you every time you look for a rule, you read a little and you learn something. After a year, I'm still learning something. I'm still learning the game. I'm still learning stuff. I read it many times. It's like you go back to a section, you read the whole section, and you came back, and then you read it again in the course of a session one night, and you find something else. And so it's really how can I say it? I like the book. I think it's a great asset, and it's really hard to play the game without it. It's not one of those games it's really heavy. So if I go to the game in itself, I would say it's a game. First, if you listen to some Luke Crane panels online, he's gonna tell you that the game is a game about consequences, and this is really, really true. The whole idea, and I keep making this analogy with the wheel, but it's the idea that you create the character, and the character is a life path system, so everything he's been through his life. It starts with the burning the character, right? So everything he's been through his life is gonna show in his skills, and it's gonna show in his threats, and it's gonna and therefore it's gonna become part of the beliefs. So the game is kind of set around the bits system, the belief, the instinct, and the threats. And when you when you go through the life path, choosing the life path for the character, you end up with an age, you end up with a clear timeline of what he's been through, and a bunch of threats and skills that already flesh out what it's gonna look like. And then you finish by creating beliefs according to the group and the story and all that. So, and when you're gonna roll for your first check, the whole thing is gonna start spinning. The whole wheel is gonna start turning. And when Luke Crane says that it's a game about consequences, is that everything you do, every stuff that happens in the game has to be kept track of. I don't know how to say that in English, but you keep track of everything, because there's some really core principles in that game, like failing forward, the player narrates the successes, the GM narrates the failure, and you say yes when it's not important, so you don't roll, and you let it ride when something happens, which can be understood in two ways. Like the first one is you don't repeat rolls in the same scene. You need a great change in the scene to try it again. And what happened during the roll still linger later on. The let it ride also can be interpreted like that. I think I got that in the adventure burner. But anyway, so when you do something, it has to keep being meaningful in the future as well. So you gotta let it ride in that sense as well. So maybe I read it wrong, but let's put it out there. So you have your belief, and you have all these economies, your bits, and you have all these economies and currency, cycles that goes around that. And there's a great Venn diagram online that you can find on the Narrative Control podcast, and it shows it really well. Is that everything is connected. So, for example, let's say you have a belief, you do stuff with it, and the game goes in another direction, but you still think that this is part of your character, so you don't want to let it go, because you don't get reward for it, because the game is somewhere else. So you can change it into a thread if everybody's agree on it, stuff like that. So it's a really dynamic system that allows the players to use it. That's really important to understand. It's like, for me, the reason why I like it so much is because there's many ways to play it. It's kind of hard to understand, but it's kind of hard to accept somehow, because it's paradoxical. It's paradoxal. First, it's hard to house rule that game. You don't really want to house rule it, because it's gonna fall apart, kind of thing. So you want to play it by the rules. That's cool. That's important, and the game shines when you do that. So that's nice. But there's so many possibilities in the system. There's so many ways to play it. Like you can go by the belief, you can go more by the threats, you can use the conflict, you can not use them, you can and also with the new also with the different expansions, they allow you to go even deeper into what burning is. One thing interesting with the whole idea of the burning wheel is that the concept of burning becomes critical to the whole culture surrounding that game. These guys call themselves burners, and in the supplement that comes with the book from the revised edition, Monster Burner, Magic Burner, you get, especially these two, you get all kinds of tricks and tips and technique, foundation to burn your own race, your own skill, your own threat, your own magic power, magic system. So it helps you kind of like becoming a designer in that sense. So the burning word that kind of gravitate around this game, and that you can see in Burning Empires as well, is the idea that if you want to create something, like for example in Burning Empires, the world burner, so if you want to create something as a player and as a gamer, use the game and do it. The games allow you to do it, gives you the tools to do it. And this is something I don't know, I've been looking for it in other games. it might be out there, but I just don't know. I just don't know these games that allows you to do it the way this one allows you to do it. So coming back to what I want to say about that is that the fact that it's a playable system. It's a system that you can decide to play in many ways. And for example, when you want to do an action, you want to resolve something, you can use a threat. You can use you use a skill, but there's many ways to use a skill. That's the thing. It's like you with the concept of wises, you can create stuff in the narrative, but you can decide to do a link test and just, let's say for example you want to say you want to find some mushrooms somehow. You're gonna have to do foraging, which is a skill, and but you have a mushroom wise, so you can decide to just take the wise and put it as a fork into your foraging skill, or you can decide to create a kind of a mushroom, and then link it. So you create the shroom you want, and by rolling it, and if you achieve it, you got it, and then you can link that knowledge, that narration you just created, into your foraging skill. So you see, you can get the same shroom, or at least something really similar, but in two different ways. And there's many other ways to go around. You know, you can get helping dice, you can fork stuff in, you can link test out, you can do also extended test. So the thing is that, and the reason why this game is so huge and so thick is that it is, some might say it is over designed. I heard that somewhere. Like there's so many things that you don't even use them all the time. It's like, and some of these things you just never use. I mean, after a year of gaming this game a lot, it's the main game I play right now, and for the last year, is that it's, how can I say that? Sometimes you just wake up and you read something in one of the books, and you go, oh shit, we forgot about that. We can use that. You know, and after like a year, you still have these things. So one thing. So coming back to the game about consequences, the thing is that when you go into a conflict, or when you state your intention, the game is intention based. I have a video on this channel talking about the mechanics, so I'm not going to go in details there. But the idea of a game about consequences is that when you state your intention as a player, you always have to say, I want to do this, I want to do that, or the GM's going to tell you something and you say, my intention is to do this, do that, and then the skill come out, you need to roll this is the obstacle, and you do the mechanic. But there's always two things that can happen. You can fail or you can succeed. Now, depending on the intention, what your intention was, which is always something you can formulate differently, something's gonna happen. When you get into a duel of wits, you state a statement of purpose at the beginning. I want this, I want that, I want this out of this conversation we're gonna have, or this debate. And the other player as well is gonna do it, or the NPC. And the dice are getting rolled, and then the result is telling you what's gonna happen. But because of this randomness of consequences that happens by rolling the dice only, there's a couple other ways, but I'm not gonna get in details here. The wheel keeps turning, and it's hard to finish the game because there's always something new. And if right now we are trying to finish this huge campaign that has been going on for a year, and we realize that in order to be able to finish it, we need to stop changing our beliefs for the last couple of sessions, because otherwise it creates new hook and new adventures all the time. You roll a die, you roll a routine test, just a routine test, climbing in a tree for something, whatever, and then you fail, and then it can create something like, oh, the tree was a great cynical. And now that you wanted to climb it, you owe him a favor. Oh, okay, and now we have to do the favor, and it keeps on going all the time. So the idea of the burning wheel for me is always the idea that everything you do in this game as a consequence, and those consequences is what actually burn the story, makes the thing moving forward, just like the burning wheel. So it's like this wheel that keeps on turning. So it's hard to finish, really hard to finish. And I guess you know, you have to force it. You have to force it to finish the whole thing. So there you go. I don't want this review to be too long. I think I summarized the main goal and ideas is that there's many ways to play this game, but it's hard to house rule it. I strongly recommend not to. Follow the rules, but there's so many of them. Choose the one you like and just use them and flip them over and change stuff up always by following the rules. But like I said, there's many ways to go about that. And then the idea also as a shared narrative, a collaborative storytelling happens really well in this game, because you know, since the players narrate the successes, since the players formulate their intentions, it create that process of the players drive the game by their intentions and by their result of their successes, and the GM kind of respond. And it can go the other way around depending on how much GM heavy you want to play it. But it's since the GM narrates the failure, it's depending on how you play it. You know, like they have recommendation in the Adventure Burner and in this book as well. But this is how we do. So it creates this really good. We don't know where you're gonna get. So just to summarize, saying that this game is about consequences, kind of create this the fact that this game is about consequences kind of create this this situation where you have your character, people around the table, they have their characters, the GM is there, he has a situation in mind. Using their vocabulary, it's a situation, a big picture, but we don't know where it's gonna go, because we need to check out with the dices. This game is really good to do that, and this is what I like the most, is that everybody is curious to see what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen because we need to follow the dice, and we don't know where the die is gonna fall. And that's the best way for me to describe this game. This game does it well, obviously, and most of the game I've been playing, you know, outside of the Burning Wheel at quarter games, kind of get that what's gonna happen. It kind of puts the what's gonna happen in the end of either the players too much or the GM too much. Here it's mostly about the where the dice are gonna fall and how the consequences of these rolls are gonna lead the story in a direction. All right, thank you for watching, and feel free to comment. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know about your experiences with Burning Wheel, how you see it, and I'll try to post more videos in the playlist. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.